Great question, and it's one with a lot of layers. When a tariff is imposed, which is a tax on imported goods, who pays for it depends on several factors like the supply chain, market power, and price elasticity. Let's break it down in detail. A tariff is a tax placed by a country's government on goods imported from another country. It raises the cost of imported goods, which affects pricing decisions up and down the supply chain. Technically, the tariff is paid by the importing company, not the foreign exporter. For example, if the United States puts a 25% tariff on steel from China, the US company importing that steel pays the extra cost at the border. But here's the twist. If the importer passes the extra cost down the chain, which they often do, the consumer pays more for the final product. For example, a tariff on foreign washing machines leads to retailers raising prices. And, well, you end up paying more for your washer. Similarly, a tariff on imported car parts makes car production more expensive, so you pay more for your car. This is very common and measurable. After the 2018 US tariffs on Chinese goods, studies found that most of the costs were passed to US consumers. Sometimes importers absorb the cost themselves, especially if the market is competitive, consumers are very price sensitive, or the company fears losing market share. So, instead of raising prices, the importer eats the cost, which shrinks their profit margins. In some cases, the foreign seller may lower their prices to stay competitive. This means they bear some or all of the tariff's cost, especially if they rely heavily on the importing country or can't easily find new buyers. For example, if Vietnam sells sneakers to the US and a tariff is applied, they might lower their price to keep US customers interested. Domestic producers might benefit from tariffs if they make the same product domestically, since imports are now more expensive. But they could also be hurt if they rely on imported raw materials subject to tariffs. For example, US car manufacturers relying on imported steel. In 2018 to 2019, the US imposed tariffs on hundreds of billions in Chinese imports. Research found US consumers bore most of the cost in the form of higher prices. Some companies moved production to other countries to avoid the tariffs. Certain industries like US farmers were hit hard when China retaliated. Party pays how? Importers pay the tariff at customs, may pass it on or absorb it. Consumers pay higher prices if costs are passed down. Foreign exporters sometimes lower prices to stay competitive. Domestic producers may benefit or suffer depending on the supply chain. If you want, I can show you how a specific tariff has played out in the real world, like on steel, electronics, or food. Let me know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more fun and educational videos.